Dear viewers of CCTV News, my name is Peng Yujia. I'm now in Wuyi Mountain of the Fujian province. Today is the very first day of the 5-day Labor Day holiday, and many tourists have already arrived on the spot in order to have a better view of this beautiful landscape in the province, and they can also have a personal experience with the rafting. Meanwhile, they can also check out all the beautiful cultural spots. So today, please follow me on the streets of the culture. And today I have also invited Luo Aiwen. So sir, please say hi to everyone. Good morning, everyone. So Mr. Luo, could you please share with us more information about the street? We are at the palace of Wuyi of the Wuyi Mountain. It has a history of more than 1,300 years. And the Wuyi Mountain has been recognized as a spot for the national park, and meanwhile, it's also on the list of the national natural heritage. And also, could you please tell us about the sightseeing activities we're about to experience? We have the cultural products and also the snacks, delicious food on the spot. You can also have some personal experience. You can have a bite on them. So let's kick off our journey. Previously, you have mentioned the good food here. Could you please give us a forecast? Well, of course, we have the tea of the Wuyi Mountain. And also, we can use the tea to produce other kind of related products. We have the black tea, for example. And based on the Da Hong Pao black tea product, we can also produce other related products like the ice cream with the taste of the black tea. And also we can use the tea leaves to make the steamed beef and also the steamed eggs. For example, this is the egg steamed with the tea soup. I've also noticed this bamboo basket here. You can find different samples of the ingredients. So, madam, could you please give us an introduction? You can see different ingredients. And the most important one among all these ingredients is in the very middle of this basket. It's called Da Hong Pao. It's very famous local black tea species. And we can first of all boil all those ingredients in the water, and then we put the eggs inside to have the eggs with special fragrance. Every day we will cook these steamed eggs with very fresh ingredients. And with the eggs, you can feel the fragrance, the taste of the eggs themselves, and also with the tea leaves. I'd like to have a bite. It's so yummy. And I can also feel the charm of the black tea even with the eggs. So that is due to the added tea leaves in the soup to cook the eggs. Because we have used the authentic Da Hong Pao black tea, that's why you can feel that fragrance of the tea leaves and also the tea soup. That's why you have such successful snacks as the boiled eggs. Thank you very much. Let's continue with our journey, Mr. Luo. Previously, we mentioned that you have developed a whole family of snacks based on the Da Hong Pao black tea. And what are the other highlights? We have the steamed ducks and ice cream of the Da Hong Pao taste. And are there any other snacks without the tea leaves? We can have the snails and also a dish invented by a famous scholar called Zhu Xi. It's very easy to keep it in storage. We can use the local food, for example, the mushrooms here, and also the wild pork. The Wuyi Mountain has also attracted many scholars here. For example, among them we have the famous Mr. Zhu Xi. He has lived here for a while, and here, among the mountains, he has written so many articles. And this is a museum with the sculptures on the bamboos. And the bamboo sculptures must be one of your highlights in the cultural production. Yes, we have Mr. Zhang, Master Zhang. He's busy working on the sculptures. So it's like your museum and also your studio. Let's take a seat to see how the master could produce a masterpiece. My name is Zhang Donghua. I'm a master for the skills of bamboo-based sculptures. I've been working on this subject for more than 35 years. Now you are busy with the sculptures. What bamboos are you using? We are using a typical bamboo that is growing in the mountain of Wuyi. They have different sizes. For the bigger one, you can have a size of like 20 centimeters. And this one is a smaller piece with a diameter of 6 to 13 or 14 centimeters. And what about these three? They are made of the bamboo trunks with a diameter of 15 plus centimeters. And sir, I've also noticed one piece of the artwork with different color. Could you please give us more explanation? The name of this piece of artwork is called The Spring of Wuyi Mountain. You can see different peaks of the mountains as well as the steam. This is, for example, the peak of Yunyu, and this is the river and also the stream. On the river, you can do some rafting. Those are very famous highlights in tourism today. And this is Dawang Peak Mountain. I have used a different technique of sculpture here. We can do the sculpture on the very first layer of the skin of the bamboo. This technique in Chinese is called liuqing. With our knife in the hand, we can enter into different level of depth on the skin of the bamboo. You can choose to leave some parts of the skin of the bamboo intact, and for the other part of it, then you can go deeper into the trunk of the bamboo. That's why you can have different colors of this sculpture, and there's also like an effect of relief. In front of you, you have collected a lot of tools, and you also have some other works going on. I'd like to know if I can also have a try by myself. Yes, of course. And you can also have two styles to manifest a pattern you want. For example, you can make the pattern to come out or to recede. You can use this tool to make the lines, and also you can use it to prepare the whole setting of the picture. For example, if you don't want some part of the skin of the bamboo, you can use it to remove that part. You can also use this knife to create the contrast between two parts. And maybe I can have a try by myself with this tool. I've also made some observation. This one looks like a tiny size of a spoon. So maybe I can hold this tool just as I'm holding a pen. Let me have a try. Still, you have to make some effort. And in order to have a better mastery of this knife, you have to practice day and night for many days. But you are doing quite well now. It's quite challenging. You have to hold the knife correctly, and also you have to make sure that you will not make an effort too small or too big to damage the whole picture. So thank you very much for letting me have a try. I know that this is a technique that requires years of experience and exercise. And now, Mr. Zhang, I can tell that you are continuing with the sculpting. And what about that bamboo piece? You have added some extra color? Yes, exactly. First of all, I will make the outlines, and later on, I will do the coloring. In order to do the coloring, we can use just an ordinary toothbrush. Can I have a try on that? I think it must be very interesting and also easy to do. You just have to brush on the color evenly. Everywhere you make pass the toothbrush, then you can see the outlines that have been strengthened because we have the colors now. Feels like you are cleaning the shoe. This one is a clean one without the coloring. That one is a finished one with the colors on it on the surface. Thank you very much for sharing with us all these techniques. I myself have also tried a little bit. This is actually a delicate skill. And Mr. Zhang, could you please demonstrate to all of our audience one of your favorite works? I would like to show you one piece that could give you an idea of the symbolic highlights in the landscape. This is a very big piece of sculpture that can show you all the highlights of the natural landscapes. It has a total length of 10 meters to show you the whole big picture of the Wuyi mountain. This is based on the technology called a light relief. You put all these bamboos together so that you can form the total length of 10 meters. First of all, you do each piece separately. In the very beginning, you put all these different pieces together to get the pattern lines on them, and then you separate them into unique pieces and you start the crafting and also the sculpting one by one. Thank you very much. The moment I coming to the street, I've noticed that you have very beautiful architectural style. So could you please give us more explanation about the architecture? Yes, of course. Just now we have talked about the sculpture and also the art of food, but now we can have more time with the architecture. Here in the mountains of Wuyi, we have a very good reputation across the country. And here you can see that on the architectures, you have very soft colors. And here you can also find the pine trees and also the broadleaf forest. We have more than 2,886 different species and varieties of those trees. And we call it the germplasm bank for these natural resources of trees. All those buildings on the street, they are relatively small in size, and they maximally can have 2 stories. They will not be built in a too high manner. And also, when we do the decoration, we will avoid using the dark color. With the softer color painted on the surface of those buildings, you can make them coexist more harmoniously with the backgrounds, the nature. Here you can find the buildings with the style from the Song dynasty, and you can also find pavilions. Today marks the very first day of our 5-day-long Labor Day holiday, and you can see that our tourists have already arrived on the spot. And this year, to celebrate the Labor Day holiday here in the Wuyi Mountain National Park, we have put into official operation the #1 walkway for the tourists. On both sides of the road, you can find those shops for souvenirs and also some restaurants. Already on my way towards our destination, I can smell the delicious food. Here we have also local techniques for the weaving of bamboo. This is a cultural heritage of the Fujian province. The masters of the weaving can use the bamboo lines to make the baskets, as well as the other craftsman products. Here in Wuyi Mountain, you can feel the beauty of the landscape, and also you can feel the charm of the culture. So could you please give us more explanation about the cultural part? We're about to visit a museum of the Wuyi Mountain. So what can we discover inside? We have collected all the representatives for the culture of Wuyi. You can find the demonstrations of the stories of those scholars and famous persons in history. And here you have also the rafting activities. For example, if you take the raft and you travel by the water, then on both sides of the river, you can see the steep cliffs. And in history, when the scholar Zhu Xi came to the site, he has written the poem with 36 lines. In this poem, he has described the beautiful and incredibly charming landscape of the Wuyi Mountain. So with this poem, you can have an experience of not only the landscape, but also the culture. And today, when you come to the spot, and if you are accompanied by a guide, then you could hear about this story. And now we are already in the courtyard of the Spring and Autumn Museum of Wuyi Mountain. And could you please give us explanation about the 2 trees? we have the two trees with a history of more than 800 years. Both of them are planted by the scholar Mr. Zhu Xi. In history, Mr. Zhu Xi has worked here for many years, and he has contributed a lot to the collection of many important essays and articles. Here you can find the footprints of our ancient sage, and also visit the sweet-scented osmanthus planted by himself. Over there, you can see one of the very famous peaks, which is called the Da Wang, the Big King. This is the very first peak you're about to encounter when you're inside this scenic area of Wuyi Mountain. Okay, maybe we can lift up our camera. In front of our lens, you can see the Da Wang Peak. So, sir, could you please give us more explanation about that peak? It's the very first peak you're about to encounter when you are inside this scenic spot. It has a Well, today we have visited the street and also the palace. We have tasted the local snacks, and we have also visited the studios for the bamboo sculpture and the bamboo weaving. So that is all for my part. You're always welcome to come to the area of Wuyi Mountain. I hope that one day you can have some personal experience in the Wuyi Mountain area. Dear viewers of CCTV News, my name is Mo Yashen. I'm now in the Kongtong Mountain area of Pingliang of Gansu Province. Here we have an altitude of more than 2,000 meters. For those fans of Mr. Jin Yong, you must have already read about this area in the novels. Today we have invited Mr. Chen, who is also a big fan of the martial arts novels. Good morning, dear viewers. My name is Chen Jinghu, a big fan of the martial arts novels. If you come to the spot, what are the highlight spots that you should never miss? Really, I would like to recommend some places to you. For example, you have to check out this piece of stone. Why is that? Especially for those big fans of Mr. Jin Yong, a big writer on the martial art world. He has written the 4 words Chinese characters here. Mr. Jin Yong has already passed away, but still for the big fans of Mr. Jin Yong and his novels, this is a piece of stone that you should never miss. And in his novel, in the imagined martial art world, Guangdong is a special world where all the martial art heroes and the masters would be gathered. Mr. Jin Yong has written so many classics on the martial arts world, and many characters in his novels have a very strong bond with the Guangdong mountain. And here we can find those traces that have been mentioned in the novels of Mr. Jin Yong. If you cannot go to the Hong Kong SAR for the moment, maybe it's easier for you to visit the Guangdong mountain in our Gansu province. Are there any spots that we should visit here? We have the gate of Chaotian, we have the peak of the mountain, and also the pagoda. We have different courtyards and different mountains. Everywhere would be so incredibly charming. And the Kongtongshan is a must-visit spot for all the big fans of our martial art novels, because in that imagined world of martial art, we have different schools of martial arts, and Kongtong is one of the 8 big families. Here, people are practicing the martial arts, and they are also practicing outside the stage. Who are you? We are paying a visit. Do you have an invitation letter? Here you are. Please. What is that? This is the guard by the entrance. Because here you have the students in that school of Guangdong martial art. And they are doing some practices here in order to give them a good environment for the daily practices. We have set up some boundaries here. You have a guard by the entrance. And for the explanation about the martial art part, we have invited Mr. Chen Hu. Good morning. Nice to meet you. You are one of the representative masters of the Guangdong martial art. Could you please give us more introduction to that? Yes, of course. They are doing some flying dragon boxing. Later on, I could also invite my students to make a demonstration. For the disciples of the Guangdong School of Martial Arts, they will use the unique weapons developed by our School of Martial Arts. And in the background, you can see the 18 different tools of the weapons. You have the long sticks. You can have the knives, the long knives. In total, you have 18 different choices in the big family, the most famous weapons. And you can have many unimaginable tools. For example, one of our students is using the calabash as a kind of weapon. Because in ancient China, we will use the calabash as the container of the alcohol. And when you are totally drunk, then you can have the box. This one used to be an agricultural farming tool. Local farmers, when facing the invasion, they would just grab something by their side. For example, something to do the farm work, to protect the family members. In old days, in the very beginning, this is just a tool to do the farm work. But when you need something to protect you, your family members and also yourself, you can have no other choice but to grab something by yourself for the sake of convenience. And gradually that tool has become both a farm work, a tool in the land, and also a weapon in the martial arts world. And could you please give us the other examples of your Guangdong School of Martial Arts? This is a fan. In the practice of the martial arts, you can have the iron-made fans with toxic needles hidden inside. With the fan, you can not only cool your body down, but also use it as a weapon. You can make some sounds. At first glance, we think the fan is just an ordinary object, but once you hold it, you can make some sound, and it looks that it has become a very powerful weapon. You have to concentrate your force, and all the strength would go into the fan. Dear viewers, I think if you were on the spot, you would also be amazed by that sound of the fan opening. Some part of the martial art is related with the ordinary life, and is also a practical tool. You can have different functions of the martial art. One part of it can be just used for appreciation, and some other martial art practices can be used to make some defense, to protect yourselves. And also you can practice the martial art just for a better health. So you can give us a demonstration about the boxing techniques to strengthen your body. I'm so curious. And for our viewers, in front of your phone, in front of the camera, you can also follow our instructions. For example, today, the people, they have problems with the neck. They have the neck ache. I would just show you some moves, especially those people that are working in offices. You don't have many chances to move around your body parts, so maybe I can show you some moves. Please follow me. First of all, you lift up the two palms, and then you turn around your palms, and then you lift up the two arms. Your side should follow the moves of your hands. Like that, you're actually moving your neck. So now I know how it goes. Let me have a try. You turn around the two palms, and then you push up. You turn around and make it go down. And you have to be looking at the hands, the palms. This is a way to improve the conditions of your necks. Today you are also dressed like you are from the martial art world. To do the health improving boxing, you also have to coordinate your breathing rhythm. You make sure that your breath can go to the depth of your belly. So if you can follow all those tips, then you can have your health better improved. Like that, by practicing on a daily basis, this health improvement boxing, you can have a stronger body. So I will just leave you alone with the students. Thank you very much, Mr. Chen. So just now we have paid tribute to the piece of calligraphy of Mr. Jin Yong, and we have checked out the spots of exercise of martial art of Kong Tong. Just on this platform, you have so many interesting activities waiting. If you climb up the mountains, I think there would be more wonders. When we are here, we can also have an opportunity to choose some souvenirs. In front of us, we have various choices. For example, you can find the postcards. The postcards to describe different sites for tourists. We have selected some famous spots, like this is the Chaotian Gate, this is the Royal Palace, the peak, and also the platform. Those are the must-visit spots for our tourists. You also have the bookmark. You can also find the invitation letter. Previously, when we communicate with the guard by the entrance of the terrace, we have delivered this invitation letter. This is a notebook. You can find inside the pictures of this Kongtong mountain area in different seasons. This icon is called the Xiaochengzi of Kongtong Mountain. It's very cute. You can take it home as a souvenir. In history, this Xiaochengzi is referred to as the teacher of Xuanyuan Emperor. And this is a special cultural stand created by the administration of this Kongtong mountain area. We are also known as the cradle, one of the cradles of the Taoism. You can feel the origin of Taoism here. On the fans, you can find calligraphy and also some paintings. You can choose the favorite colors here. And then the finished product would be unique. Could you please give me some introductions and give me some guidelines? First of all, you can choose your favorite colors. Because we are in this mountain area, maybe I would just choose green. Because here we do a lot of mountain and river-based paintings, so I will add up some blue and yellow. Usually, how many colors do we need? At least 4. And you can also pick up one fan that suits you well. And what about this one? So step number 1, you have to choose the colors. Now you have chosen 4 colors. And then you will just add the paint into the water. You just do it as you want. I would like to have a lot of green in the water because everywhere here in the mountain area you're surrounded by this beautiful green color. And then you one by one put the other colors inside. And finally, I would like to get the pink inside. Here we are at a very high altitude, more than 2,000 meters. So I would like to have a long line here to describe the landform. And also I will have some sparkles of gold color. Then I will use the stick to stir up. Because it's purely DIY, you can do whatever you want. And for the finished product, it's always unique and different. I would like to have some more green here. And then after stirring up, what can we do? And then we will put the fan inside. We have different styles of immerging the fans. For example, you can turn it around or you can make it go zigzag, or you can make it slide. And different styles of diving of the fan, then you can have finally different effects. First of all, you go into the water and then you go zigzag and then you make a complete dive inside and then you get it out. And then you have to dry it up. It can dry up quite quickly. In the past, we can just leave it in the open air and it can be dried up by air. And now we can just use some paper. Now you can find all the beautiful colors that I've chosen a moment ago. For example, the yellow one, the green, the blue, and the pink. And still there's one other step to go, the stamp. This is a souvenir brought home by our tourists. Now, as you can see, this is the unique product that I've made, the painted fan. And this is the Guangdong mountain in my eyes, composed with the yellow color as well as the greens and blues. Maybe you can come here one day by yourself, and you can also bring the picture of the Guangdong mountain with yourself. And that's all for my part. Dear viewers of CCTV News, good morning to all of you. My name is Yumeng Yao from the local Xi'an TV. I'm in the township of the Tea of Fu of Shanxi province. The tea of Fu has been considered as the dark gold on the ancient Silk Road. In ancient times, it has been exported to more than 40 regions and countries in the world. Today is the first day of our 5-day-long Labor Day holiday, so I would be introducing this area to all of you, accompanied by one of the workers here, Mr. Zheng Yuhang. Good morning, everyone. Here we have built up the street of culture and sightseeing. We have this whole township for the fermented tea called Fu Cha in Chinese. And first of all, we can show to all of you this star product. And for the Chinese people, when we mention that word fu, they immediately would think about one Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. But actually, that word fu comes from the other Chinese character, meaning the hottest day in summer throughout the whole year. Because this is a kind of dark tea and also fermented tea, you have to make the fermentation, you have to wait for the hottest day throughout the year. And in the ancient Silk Road, we exported 3 categories of products. The first is the silk, the second category is the porcelain, and the third is the tea. And the tea was mainly, in old days, the dark tea from this area. During those old days, to facilitate the transportation, so we have pressed hardly on the tea leaves so that they can form the bricks of the tea. And previously, I've mentioned that traditional Chinese medicine herb, it's called the Wolfiporia extensa. And this tea tastes exactly like that Chinese medicine herbs. In China, we have thousands of different types of tea products. But only with this tea of Fu, can you find this special characteristic? Those are the golden spots on the surface of this tea. It's called the golden flower bacteria as a kind of biological organism brought by this tea. This is a kind of bacteria unique to this tea of Fu, and we have discovered this bacteria through a quite coincidence. We are now in Jingyang. It's located in the very center of the Chinese mainland. That's why this has become a hub of transportation, because here it's very easy for you to have a connection with both the east and west, the north and south. When we bring the tea from southern part of China to northern part of the country, absolutely you have to travel through this area. And then you can export the tea from southern part of China towards Europe and the other Central Asian countries. And what a kind of coincidence has made you discover the bacteria? Coincidentally, once people in ancient days have dropped the tea in water, and by then it was forbidden for ordinary people to just destroy the tea, and then people have to get that package of the tea outside of the water and have to dry them in nature. And suddenly they have discovered that the tea has developed this bacteria that could be very useful to contribute to people's health. In order to make the product of the tea of Fu, you have to use the water here. Here the water has more like an alkaline nature. A second characteristic is that we have a very dry climate and we have relatively high temperature, which is very favorable to the fermentation. And third is the people of this area of Jingyang is very important because they have developed the special techniques. Usually towards the northern part of the Qingling Mountain, people think that it's not very good environment to cultivate the tea and to make the tea. However, in this area of Jingyang, we have developed all these whole system of technologies to make the tea, because it's a kind of dark tea and also fermented tea. You have to follow a whole procedure of fermentation. And today, to attract the tourists, we have demonstrated one part of the fermentation, that is the bricks making. Could you please give us an introduction? I'm from the 7th generation of the heritage. My name is Luo Yao. We're about to have an experience of one part of the fermentation and making of the tea. In history, we have already formulated different steps of tea making. Today, I'm about to show you one crucial step of the ancient tea making method. We have different tools to make the tea. In history, we need at least 3 people. 1 people to hold the container, one another to manipulate the ventilation. Now we need some coordination here. For example, in this very step, you can see how we can turn all those separate tea leaves into a solid brick of tea. All those settings, those equipments, they are very heavy. That's why starting by the ancient days, we need more than one people to stand around and coordinate their efforts in order to turn those tea leaves into the bricks. One of the person is holding this long stick. And to manipulate the sticks, this person also has to follow a certain procedure. For example, now I'm doing some strikes. As you can see now that we have this huge volume of tea leaves. Actually, we have already poured many of them inside, but still we are at just 1/3 of the volume. There's more than 2/3 to go. In ancient Silk Road days, we have to use the camels and also the horses to transport the tea leaves towards the Western world. If we can press on the tea leaves and make them into those bricks, they will be reduced in volume and size. Now we are making 2.5 kilos of the tea. For the whole procedure, how much time do you need to complete all those steps? 160 strikes. And starting by the beginning, like the selection of the leaves, it's very hard to tell, and after the brick making, you still have to wait for some days before the delivery. And because it's fermented tea, you have to wait for the bacteria to grow a little bit to facilitate the fermentation. We are now still in this little town of the tea, and because it's a tea town, we have also built up all those tea houses. And we also have the local opera performances. It's called the Qing Opera. If you would like to enjoy a show of the local Qing opera, you can step into one tea house, have a cup of tea, and get yourself seated, and then you can take a moment. This year, for the Labor Day holiday, we have created all those different cultural activities. We have immersive experience offered to our tourists that can make them better understand the history of this tea of Fu. In the future, we can also think about developing more performances, cultural performances, like the shows, the plays. We are now on a street of snacks. Now it's almost lunchtime, so you can see it's a crowded street. This is one of the most famous snacks in Xi'an. Previously, we call that the cake of Jing, but actually, if you check the dictionary, then this character is pronounced as zeng, and zeng is actually that container that you have used to make the cake. And why we call that Jing, the cake of Jing? Because in the local dialect of Xi'an, the people would pronounce like Jing. So you can do it both ways. You can find the jujubes and a good glutinous rice. If you come for a visit in Xi'an, then you can find another kind of cake of jing, but that jing in Chinese means mirror. So that is the cake of mirrors. I think both of them taste rather similarly. It's like sweetened glutinous rice. Because you put the jujubes inside, then it can give you a sweetened taste. And another thing about our place is that we are very famous about the pastries, the noodles. We have the one of the noodles that is called the biang biang noodle. Here you can find the different types of snacks based on the pastries. You can also eat according to the menu to have a whole set of snacks. For example, you can have the rice noodles. And I can see that this is a very popular restaurant. People are waiting for the delivery of their food. For example, here on the board is marked, it's the rice noodle of the Qing Township. People can add a lot of spices inside, and also it's accompanied by the spiced oil. And also you can have some snacks here, the cakes here, the fried cakes. And you can also find the stuffed buns. This is also a very famous local snacks. With this kind of bun, you have the meat and spices based stuff. In order to find the most authentic rice noodles here of the Qing Township, you have to tell by the ingredients they put inside. Local people would just have this for their breakfast. Usually for the rice noodles, they are slimmer. I would like to have a bite. Oh, I can feel that fragrance of the spiced oil. This is the fried cake. You can have a bite so we can see what is inside. Actually, it's sweetened snack. Inside we have the sugar, the melting sugar and sesame inside. It's very hot. Maybe we can take that one. We have different styles of the stuffed bun called the 肉夹馍 in Chinese. Sometimes we can put the spices into the meat. First of all, we check out the buns. In order to make that snack authentic, you have to make sure that you have the correct bun in the first place. For example, the outside layer should give you a certain pattern, and the inside should also have a special pattern of the layers of the bread. And there is also another delicious snack I'd like to show to you. It's called 让火. This is a word from the local dialect of Shanxi province. And the character in the dialect means very soft product, very soft thing. It's in the shape of the sausage. And it's also a unique local snack. I'd like to invite all of you to come to the place to have a bite on these delicious snacks. If you are interested in the tea of food, or you were just curious about those snacks, then don't hesitate to come to the Xi'an city of Shanxi province. I'd like to give the floor to my colleagues. Dear viewers of CCTV News, good morning. My name is Feng Xue. Today marks the very first day of the Labor Day holiday. Are you already in the journey? When we talk about the destinations for our visits, I think the zoos and parks would be a very nice choice. For example, now you can see the pandas. We have invited Mr. Chen Liangjing. He's one of the keepers here in the zoo. The panda is now enjoying the bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoots are their favorite food. And this panda is called Qingzai. He eats a lot. The pandas can always attract a huge number of tourists. And For the pandas, they can have the fans, just like the superstars on stage. And that one is called the Yue Yue. Yue Yue is the 5th panda born here in the zoo. And that is a baby girl panda, and usually she would like to do whatever she wants, and she's not obeying to the other keeper's instructions. It's now raining a little bit, but I prefer to have the bamboo shoots and the other fruit in the rain days. So rainy days would not be a problem for them. Some of the pandas don't like the rain, but some others, they like the rain. It's quite different among different pandas. It's just some people like the snow and some other people no. And the color of the monkeys, the neighbors of our pandas, they can also have the changes. For example, just after birth, those monkeys can have golden fur color, but gradually when they are mature, then they can have black fur. And those monkeys can be very good neighbors to the pandas. And talking about the feces of the pandas, they are not smelly, so it's quite easy to adapt to that smell because most of the food, the intake, are based on the fruit and also the bamboos. The owl, also a good neighbor of the pandas, they prefer colder temperature. You know that in Guangdong you have the 3 brothers of the panda. They are called Meng Meng, Shuai Shuai, and Ku Ku. For one of the 3 brothers, we have prepared very delicious lunch today. Usually we will feed them with carrots, apples, bamboo shoots, and steamed buns. So let's go and check out the snacks for the pandas. Shuai Shuai, the name of this panda in Chinese, means handsome. And actually, he deserves that name because he's really handsome. We have prepared this table for Shuai Shuai, the panda. So we can go nearer. Shuai Shuai is about to come out. We're waiting for the arrival of Shuai Shuai, the panda. As we can see, the food is ready. You have prepared different varieties. They are natural food for the panda, but they have been made into the forms of human food and also from the local snacks. And this is a dragon boat. made to celebrate the 9th birthday of the three brother pandas. Later on, when he comes towards our side, we can just call his name. The pandas can recognize the sound, the voice of their keepers. So you've been taking care of the panda since after its birth. Yes, I've been staying with him. The pandas cannot have a very good sight. To find the food, they will just smell around. They will search for the food by their nose. Their ancestors have been living in the forest after generations and generations of adaptation to the forest, and that's why their capacity of seeing has degraded. Many people, they are enjoying the live streaming of pandas having food. Just now he got your message. He knew that you are here. By the 29th of July this year, the three brothers are about to celebrate their 10th birthday. He's really enjoying the food. So we have made good-looking snacks for the panda. The snacks for the panda look like the food that we would put on our tables in the Guangdong province, because Guangdong province is also very famous for their diversity in the snacks. Every year, we also celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival. We have the races of the dragon boats. It's so cute. Even though the food has been dropped to the ground, he will still stick to the remains of the food. So that is for the panda Shuai Shuai. And we're about to check out another brother panda. It's called Ku Ku. He's about to have some experience of train driving. And that train is also our gift for that panda. Among all the other pandas, Ku Ku has been the very first to own his own train. Because for the pandas, they are afraid of hot temperature, high temperature. They don't want hotness. So that's why we would like to lower the temperature in ambience for the daily living of the pandas. Especially for some of the species, they are living at a very high altitude. So today in their habitat, we will give them ice cubes, or we can have the other equipment or settings. This is another panda called Ting Ting. She has given birth to two baby pandas. One is called Yue Yue. Another is Ting Zai. The very first panda we have encountered today. So this panda Ting Ting is the mother of the panda Ting Zai. Every day they will sleep for more than 10 hours. When they stay on the tree, they would feel safer. Now we're about to check out the train of Ku Ku. So this is the place where Cuckoo can have his own train. He's sleeping now. Maybe we can wake him up. He's so cute. Hey, Cuckoo, wake up. Let's take the train to Lhasa. Or maybe we can give him some seconds to fully wake up. Hey, Cuckoo, let's get on board. We would give you a big bamboo shoot. There you go. Why this drama today? You don't want to travel today? Well, we just let him be himself. Usually, when they eat, they will choose a familiar environment. For example, Cuckoo prefer to sleep at a higher place on the trees, for example. Pandas, they look very cute. However, they could be very fierce as animals. For example, they have very powerful teeth, just like the other bears. So we should not be fooled by the cute image of the panda. So maybe that is all for the panda part. And we're about to check out on the elephants. Dear viewers of CCTV News, welcome back. Behind me is a family of 3 generations of Asian elephants. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a big family of 3 generations of elephants. They are called the Asian elephants. They are very big in size, and they are vegetarian. Every day they eat the herbs, the grass, the tree leaves, and some small amount of fruit. They are very big in body size, so every day they have to eat a lot. For the adult elephants, they can reach an intake volume of 150 kilos. On the ground, we have also prepared the yellow color soil, so the elephants would use their elephant tusk to get the earth on the back and on the surface of their skin. Because they don't have any fur, so in order to protect the skin from the constant sunshine, they can use the earth to protect the skin. It's a very good measure to protect the skin, a kind of skincare. And let's look at the baby elephant. He has only 2 years old, less than 3 years old. And the pregnancy of the elephants can have a very long duration, almost 2 years of pregnancy. And later on, after the birth, the mother would feed the baby for almost 3 years. And then for the group, you can find the head of the group and the mother and also the daughter. This is also the result of our conservation. And previously we have mentioned that we have this yellow color earth on ground, and we have also some food hang in the middle air, so that our elephants can have more chances to move around, to have some exercises. They are living together and they are playing together, interacting. Those are carefree movements. The baby elephants can stay together with the elderlies. They can also learn from their parents. This is one interesting spot to start with in order to know the ancient elephants. Many people are not familiar with the habits of our elephants, but they don't know all those secrets in the background. The elephants, they live together, but still in their small society, there is the hierarchy. So they have to respect that ranking. And when that family or when the group of elephants, they are panicked, then the atmosphere would change immediately. Or when there's one single elephant that is panicking, then the whole family of the elephants would gather together in order to protect the panicked ones. And this rarely seen among the other species of animal. Is quite rare, and we can find that behavior within the group of the elephants. And there is also another type of elephant, is African elephants. They look different from the Asian ones, and the African elephants are bigger in size. If you would like to have more knowledge about the animals, you can come to the zoo for more visits. But for our trip to the zoo, that is all for my part. Please stay tuned for more information. Dear viewers of CCTV News, good afternoon. My name is Liaoning. Today is the first day of the Labor Day holiday. I believe a lot of you are already on the trip or you have already arrived. Today I'm about to bring you into the Ying Dynasty Ruins Museum in Anyang City. Inside we have more than 4,000 objects, the first time for the museum to be open for the public. When you come here, you can be amazed by the charm of the ancient objects. And meanwhile, the museum has also prepared interesting activities. For example, this is one show of the costumes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ma Xin, working in this area of the Ying Dynasty Ruins Museum. You're welcome to join this trip to the Ying Dynasty 3,000 years ago. Because you have a lot of tourists coming to your site, even it's lunchtime, still people, they have been coming to this area. When we talk about the history of 3,000 years ago, we would feel the heaviness of history. We have this quick show of the costumes. You can see the hierarchy of the society, and in the meantime we have the flash mob of the battles in history. In the meantime we have the cultural markets where you can feel the cultural glamours of the bronze and culture of the Ying Dynasty. Now you are re-demonstrating the culture of the Ying Dynasty. Could you please give us more explanations about the clothing? As you can see, we have 5 ladies dressed in the old ways. They are showing the martial art from the ancient days. And they are dressed like young ladies in the dynasty. And you can find the patterns collected from the bronze objects by their sleeves and also by their colors. For the Shang dynasty, what kind of material did people use in their daily clothing? You can mostly find the linen. Previously, we have witnessed the clothing for the young ladies. And now we can also see the features about important personalities. And now they are doing the shapes of ancient characters in the oracle letters in ancient China. And what about the decorations? Today we have discovered a lot from the archaeological studies. In the graves we have discovered the jade object For example, from that grave of Fuhao, we have already discovered more than 500 jade objects. So actually, it means that 3,000 years ago, people have started to use jade in their daily life. You have discovered from the Fuhao grave so many jade artifacts, and today we can also find the demonstration of those artifacts in the museum. And thanks to this flash mob performance, we can understand how people were dressed in China 3,000 years ago. And today we also give the opportunity to our tourists to be dressed up like the people 3,000 years ago during their visit in museum. For men and women, we can tell the difference in the style of dressing and also in the material for the dressmaking. In the Fuhao grave, we find some silk. And we know that in Shang dynasty, we have very strict hierarchy. 3,000 years ago, the social ranking is very important and it's fully respected. Now maybe we can go closer to see the details. 3,000 years ago, the ladies, they are dressing in the long dresses. 3,000 years ago, there's a famous person called Fu Yue. And this is how he was dressed like. This is a little bit like the minister's dressing, and this is the soldier's dressing. In the Shang dynasty, the soldiers, they were always fighting, and that's why the soldiers were wearing the protective clothing, and they have a smaller openings of the sleeves, so it's better, it's more convenient for them to fight. And also different types of soldier dressing. And finally, for Fuhao. Fuhao is not only a general in army, but also a mother, and is also a queen. This is the dress for Fuhao. And you can find different patterns. For example, the pattern to demonstrate the dragon. And from the building of the Ying Dynasty Ruins Museum, we can also find those patterns. Apart from the exhibition on the Shang Dynasty clothing and the vehicles, we can also show to people the musical instruments. For example, the stone musical instruments and also the pottery instruments. We have invited an expert to give you more explanation. First of all, maybe we can see the full show. For the Shang people, in order to go out, they can choose to walk or to take the horse. Today we have also discovered the samples of those vehicles driven by the horses dating back to the Shang dynasty 3,000 years ago. And according to our archaeological studies and discoveries, we find out that actually those ancient vehicles were driven by 2 horses instead of only 1. And today we have reshaped the ancient vehicles. As you can see, our performers, they are already on board. They are on the carriage now and they have kneeled down. Later on, there's also a special flash mob performance about the carriages. which would bring all our guests back to the days 3,000 years ago. Now, for our viewers, you can imagine 3,000 years ago, people were dressed like this in such a style, and when they go out, they will take the carriage like this. Today, we don't have so many performance, but imagine that 3,000 years ago, when people travel around, they are in huge numbers. For the dressing performance, how many different styles have you prepared? We have already made more than 100 choices for our tourists so they can have a personal experience on the charms of these dressings. Today, the dressing style from Tang Dynasty and Song Dynasty have already gone viral among the younger generation. Maybe a visit to the Yin Dynasty Ruins Museum could be another choice for them. So we have an expert here to explain to us the play of musical instruments based on pottery. This is called the Tao Xun in Chinese. It's a musical instrument made of pottery. Xun has a history of 3,300 years. So we've been practicing this kind of instrument for more than 3,000 years. I'm holding one pottery instrument, musical instrument with 9 holes. We have also other types, for example, with 5 holes, 8 holes, or 10 holes. But this one, because it has only 9 holes, it can give only 9 notes, and 1 note less than the 10-hole instrument. And it's still in ancient shape, as people were using 3,000 years ago. And we use the pottery to make this musical instrument. Do you have stone ones? Yes, indeed. In different places of China, we did have discovered similar instruments made of stone or sometimes with animal bones. Could you please show to us how we can blow into that musical instrument? We can feel the sound. A very beautiful music, especially when we are standing on this land. We can feel that when the music is on, it's like we were traveling back to the days 3,000 years ago. And in ancient days, this music has been played during the rituals of sacrifices and the battles. During the Shang dynasty, it's not a popular music instrument, meaning it's not used by ordinary people, but starting by the Han dynasty, it has become very popular among people. And for this one, you can count the number of the holes. It's a 9-hole. I can explain it to you. How you hold the instrument. You put your thumb here with the hole number 1, and then number 2, 3, 4, and 5 with your right hand. And you have to cover all the holes. And then you put the hole on your lower lip. Immediately you put it to the right place. First of all, you create the sound and then you find the note. Good job. So how to make the voice louder? Good job. I can also show you how to play different notes, how to make the so. And then you open one hole, another hole, ready? Really, I cannot compete with the professionals, but it's no easy job. I don't know whether our viewers could feel the difference between these ancient musical instruments with the modern ones. But these ones are already adapted versions. In ancient times, those pottery-based musical instruments are no bigger than the eggs. They are very small in size. Today, you can have different forms and shapes. For example, they can look like a cylinder or they can look a calabash. You can also use different materials, for example, the wood, or you can use the purple clay or the stone to make it. What about the impact on the quality of the sound? No big difference. So can we find the artifacts of those musical instruments in the museum? Yes, of course. During the preparation of the exhibition, I've also been invited to test the sound of those musical instruments, and I was so honored. During